everyone. I hope you all are very good. I am Suraj and today I am here with a new concept. So the concept we are learning today is array. So if we look into the formal definition of the array, so array is basically a data structure which is used to store multiple values in a single variable and typically of same data type, and each element can be accessed using its index. So now let's understand that what this definition wants to convey. So let's go. Okay. So first of all, if you know Java, then you know that we can store the values in an integer. That's here I have stored the value 10 in a variable a. But what if I want to store multiple values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on in a single variable only? Then in that case I can use the array. Okay, so first thing you might be thinking that, hey, why do I need to use array? Like I can just make so many variables and just store all those values in those variables and can take it from there only. But what if there are 100 numbers of values we want to store? There are 1,000 numbers of values we want to store. Then in that case, this manner will not be an efficient, it will not be an efficient way to do the thing, because we need to make hundred and thousands of variables, and if even if we make those variables, it will be very hard for us to sustain that code, and that is why we use the array. Okay, so let's move forward and see how can we use the array. So if we look into the formal definition, then it says that the integers are all the elements are of same data type. Okay, and we want to store all these in a single variable. Okay, multiple values will be stored in a single variable and of the same data type. Okay, so let's move. First of all, we need to specify the data type of the element we want to store in our array. So in this case, let's put it int. Okay, so now we have put int that the elements we want to store in our array will be of integer type. Next we will put square brackets. Okay, and next we will give it a name to our array. In this case I am just giving it ARR. So here I have made I have declared my array. So now if I want to initialize my array, so there are two ways. Let's talk about the first way to initialize our array. So the first way is I can do something like this. I can just put curly braces, and inside those curly braces I can put all the values I want to put in my array. Okay, so this was the first way to initialize an array. We will look into the second way now. The second and the most preferable way is we will say we will write new, then the data type, it should be same as per the declaration of the array, and now we will specify the size of our array. Actually we know that the arrays are static, like it does not have any dynamic sizing system. We will know more data structure which are gonna be dynamic, but in this case the arrays are statically sized, so we need to maintain a size. So let's say I will give it a size of 2. So I have give it a size of 2. Okay, now how can I put my values? Like in this case I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and all in my array directly. But in this case what we will do, we will use the indexing. So what is indexing? Actually, if it is an array, then every element is placed in a specific index. Like in this case, the one is indexed at the first place, then the second, then the third, then fourth, and all. Okay. But in the case of arrays, the indexing starts from 0. Note it down. In the case of array, indexing does not start from 1, it starts from 0. That is why if ever we want to put our first element in the array, we will place it in the 0th index. Okay, and now we can just put some more values, and let's do one thing. Now let's print it out and run it. So it is giving me the value 1 because I put the value 1 at the 0th index of our array, and I just print out my 0th index element. Similarly, if I put 1 here and run, then it will give me the value. I think it's so clear. But what if I do one thing? I will say at second index put value 3 and I try to run it. It is giving me an error, and the error is index out of bound exception. What does it mean? It means that the size of our array is smaller than the index in which we want to put the value. Okay, so we saw that I just made an array of size 2 and I am putting the value of second index, but still it is not allowing me to put the value at the second index. Why so? Actually, the reason is in the arrays, whenever we put this value here, this index is excluded from the array. Like if I'm making an array of 3 size, then I cannot put the value at the third index. And because whenever we are mentioning the size of an array, then we can just see the indexing is starting from 0. That is why the two elements which we are specifying are the first one is this and the second one is this only. And that is why it is not allowing me to uh, to like put one more value in our array because this index is out of my boundary. Okay, I hope you understand this. So now what we have done, that in indexing, that indexing starts from 0 and the value which we are specifying here is also out of our bound. Okay, so let's similarly, if we want to put value like at fourth index, then obviously it will give me error because obviously the size of my array was 2 and we are trying to put at the fourth index, then it is giving me the index out of bound error. I think that was very easy. Okay, so now I just use the int type here. Now let's explore some more types. Let's say I want to see the boolean type array and I want to specify the size 2. At 0th index, I will put value true and at first index, I will put value false. I will see both the value, I will try to print both the values. So yeah, here we go. That we got true at the 0th index. That's what we put and false at the first index. I think that was very easy to understand. And this was the boolean type. Similarly, we can put the char type. In this case, we need to give some character values, for example p and o, and let's see And yeah, we got our values. Similarly, we can use the string, and at zeroth index I will put my name, and at first index I will put my surname and run it. Okay, sorry. Strings are always enclosed in double quotes, not single quotes. That is why we are getting that array, that error. Yeah. So here we got my name here. So I think it was very easy to understand that how we are making the strings, how we are making the arrays, and how indexing works, and how we are defining the size of our array. Okay. So now let's see the default values of our array. First of all, let's start with int only. Like I am giving no value to my array, that what are the default values it is taking inside it. So in case of integer, it does contain the value 0. Okay, because 0, it is the default value of integer type. Similarly, if we see in the case of boolean, then it is giving me false, because false is the default value in the boolean data type array. Similarly, if we look into the char, then this dot, and if we look into the string, let's see what will happen. It is giving me null. Now let's see. In integer type, it was giving me 0. In character type, it was giving me dot. Okay. In boolean type, it was giving me false. All these threes, like in integer, we got 0. 0 is an integer. Okay, we got it. In boolean, we got the value false. False is also a boolean value. Okay, we got it. In character, dot is also a character. So we are getting that in character case. But the null is not an string. Then why it is the default value of string? Actually, in Java, the integer, boolean, and character, all these three, what are these three? First of all, integer, boolean, and character. These three are primitive type, and the string is an object. And that is why whenever we make a string of a primitive type, then we got the values which is included by these types. But in case of string, we get null. Okay, I hope you got it. So let's see how internally the arrays works. So first of all, let's see. Like I made an array of integer type. I name it some ARR only. So what is happening here? Let's go to the whiteboard and see what is happening here. So if you know Java, then you might know that there is a stack and there is a heap. So whenever we are making this declaration, then this ARR is being stacked into my stack here, ARR. But till now, it is not pointing to anything in our heap. Okay, it means that it is not occupying any space because it is not initialized yet. Okay, it is just here in my stack, and it is just a reference variable which is till now is not referencing to any value. But as soon as I do one thing, I put new int of value of size 2. Okay, so now what it will do, it will take two integer size in my heap, and now this ARR will reference to this storage in my heap memory. Now let's make it more clear. It is my stack. In this stack, I have put my reference variable. Reference variable is what? Reference variable just just give a reference to the actual value stored in the heap, and this is the heap where the actual values are stored. Okay, now till the time I have not initialized it, it is occupying no space because heap has made heap has not given any space to the reference variable because it was not initialized yet. But now once I have initialized it, I have put that give it the size 2. Then what will heap do? It will create it will take the space of two int variables and give it to the ARR. Now the ARR will reference to this storage now. Okay. Now I hope you got it. So that is how the uh, and that is how the arrays works. Okay, I hope you got this. Now let's see if we make a function here. Let's say void only. Let's name it fun. Let's fun, and I am taking a variable a here and putting this variable value to 2. Simple. Now I am making a variable here with value 5 and calling this function here and passing this variable here. Now if I print system.out.println a, now what will be the value of my variable? It is still 5. It did not change because whenever we are passing a variable to a function, then it just sends a copy of that variable, not the actual variable, and that is why the value of actual variable does not change. Now if I make an array, okay, and it is also taking an array, and at 0th index it is putting the value 2. But here at 0th index, I am putting value 6, at first index 7, and then 1. Now I am passing this array. A is an array which I am passing to the function fun. This function is doing, it is changing the value at the 0th index to 2. I gave it the value of 6, but it is changing the value to 2. Now let's see what it is there in the 0th index. So it is 2, but I put it 6. Why so? Because in the case of array, whenever we are passing an array to a function, then what it does, it takes the actual address of the array and pass it to the function. And if there will be any change made by the function to that array, then it will be implemented on the actual array. And that is why the value at the 0th index actually got changed. Okay, I hope you understand. It was very easy. Similarly, we can do with character. We can just put a value. Let's put L, P, and K. Now let's see what is at the 0th index. It is P. We gave it the value L, but the function fun change its value to p, and that is why we are getting p here. I think it was okay now. So let's look over the multi-dimensional array now. Okay, so first of all, what are multi-dimensional arrays? So you might have studied the matrix in your schools. So in matrix, we know that it is like something like this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In matrix, we know that there is a two-dimensional connection between the elements. Okay, so how can we achieve this? Actually, the two-dimensional arrays are nothing. Just we are putting the array inside array. Okay, let's not make it complicated. We will just make an array, but because we are making two-dimensional array, we will put two square brackets here. What does it mean? That it is an array of array only. Okay. So let's make it. So what it will do? We are creating an array. I hope you got this. Whenever we want to make an array, we put the square brackets. But this array means this is a group of elements, and all those single elements are array only. Okay, so means uh, all the elements this array contains will be array only. Then how are we making array? Using curly braces only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it might look so confusing, but we will make it simple. So what if I want to like get the values of this array? How can I get it? Let's see. System dot out sorry out dot print ln. So first of all, we will specify the row. First of all, we will specify the row of which I want to get the element of. I want to get this one, and this is present in the first index. So I will put 0. Why? Because we know that in the array the indexing starts from 0. The indexing starts from 0, and this is the 0th index of the array. Now I want to get the value 1. So I know that this element is also an array. This element is also an array. So how can I get 1? This 1 is the first element of this internal array. This 1 is the first element of this internal array. So how can we get the first element of the array? At which index that first element will be placed? At 0th index only. So now if I run it, it is giving me 1. So yeah, I hope you understand that how is this working. Let's see it again. We want the value 1. We know that it is present on the first element of the outer array. It is present in the first element of the outer array. Okay. And how can we access the first element using index 0? Okay, got it. Now we we saw that the one is in the that 1 is the first element of the internal array at 0th index. Okay, first is the first element of the 0th index array. Then how can we get it? Using the 0 index only. Now if I want the value 6, just guess it. How can we do it? I will wait for 5 seconds. One, two, three, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if I want to get the value 6, see how can we get it? First of all, we will count. It is my first element. It is my second element. Okay. And this is my third element. This 6 is present in my second element. Okay. This 6 is present in my second element. How can we get the second element of an array? Using first index, because the element number, the index equals to element number minus 1. We know that if I want to get the first element, I'll go to the zeroth index. If I want to go to the first element, the index will be 0. Similarly, if I want to go to the second element, the index will be 1. So I want to get the value 6. I counted first, second. Okay, it is second element, which means first index. Okay, now I got that I have to put the value 1 here, because in array indexing starts from 0, 0 and 1. Okay, now I have assured that the 6 is present in the second element. Now it is about the internal array. The external array is fixed. Now it is about the internal array. In internal array, at which place the 6 is placed? Zeroth index, first index, second index. Okay, so 6 is at the second index. So I can just put 2 here. See again, the the 6 is present in the second element of the outer array, the second element, which means at first index of the outer array. And in this internal array, the value 6 is present at the second index. How? Because 4 is at the zeroth index, 5 is at the first index, and 6 is at the second index. And that is why if we want to get the value 6, then we will just put ARR of 1, which means the first array we are going to check, which is at the first index, and the sec the ind the second the third element of the second array. And here we go. We got the value 6. I hope you understand. Actually, it needs some practice, because it is a bit confusing, because it is hard to imagine that 2D array. But you will get it once you will do it 2 or 3 times. Similarly, there are 3D arrays as well. It means that in place of 1, we are getting one more array. Let's do thing like this. This time let's remove it only. Okay, actually, okay, so this is an 3D array. So in 3D array, first of all, let's start again. Let's say I want to get the value 5. I want to get the value, let's not say 5, let's say 4. I want to get the value 4. So firstly, look at the outermost array. The outermost array. It is in the first, it is the first element. It means that I want to go to the zeroth index, because it is my first element only. It is my first element only. I want to go to the zeroth index. Okay. Now inside this, now I have reached to this level. I want to get 4. Now in this internal array, the 4 is present in the in the middle one means zeroth index, first index. Okay, I got it. That at in the internal array, my 4 is present in the first index. Okay, I will just put the value 1 here. Now it is a 3D array. So I need to put one more square bracket, and now I'm inside this array, this innermost array. At which index the 4 is present? Just see. This is my innermost array. Now I have reached here. I saw that 9 is present at the 0th index, 5 is present at the first index, and 4 is present at the second index. And that is why I can just put 2 here and run, cross your fingers, and 4. Boom, we got our answer. And I hope you understand that how our indexing is working in the multi-dimensional array. And I hope this is enough for our array lecture. Thank you very much for giving me your precious time. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.